Were you able to put that picture up?
Mm-hmm. We are live. Mm-hmm. We are live.
Am I presenting? Am I good to go?
Yeah, you can go. Oh, wait, hold on.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to Thursday's featured webinar for Career Awareness Day as a part of FBLA PBL Week 2017. This webinar is sponsored by the 2016-2017 Virtual Officer Team. My name is Ryan Jacobs, and I'm proudly serving as the 2016-2017 reporter. Joining us today via Google Hangouts and YouTube Live is Tori Armourger from Topeka, Kansas. Should you have any questions from Tori at any point during the webinar, please submit them into the live comments. You may also tweet them using hashtag #VirtualPBLWebinar. We will present the questions to Tori at the end of the webinar. If there are any virtual PBL members in attendance tonight, please submit your name and state in the live comments section. Tori is a former Phi Beta Lambda Mountain Plains Region Vice President and former Kansas PBL State President. Tori now serves the state of Kansas as a House of Representatives member for the 112th District. We will now allow Tori to elaborate on her experiences in PBL and how they have prepared her for the rigors of the workplace. Tori, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you.
Alrighty, Ryan, and thank you to everybody who's out there watching. I do apologize. I am driving back to my district, which is Great Bend. We have a pro forma day tomorrow, so it means I'm not going to work back in our district. But so just to elaborate, I have been involved with FBL since my freshman year of high school. And a fun fact, Ryan and I actually went to high school together. So we had a really great FBLA chapter. I was involved on the local level. I was chapter president for 2 years in FBLA, and I was the secretary to get started and all that fun stuff. But then I went to college. I went to Fort Hays State University, which is the only Western Kansas university. So that's our little claim to fame. But the moment I walked on that campus, I thought, I'm going to join FBLA PBL. This is going to be awesome. And I got there, and there really wasn't, the transition was not the same. And so I was involved for a little bit, not too much. I was more involved within my sorority. But I had a quote-unquote coming to Jesus moment, and I did not get a position that I wanted within my sorority, and I thought the world was coming to an end. But I stepped back and I reevaluated, and I thought, you know what? This is just a sign that I need to do something different. And the very first thing I thought of was, I've always loved FBLA PBL. Maybe this is the time I'm supposed to get involved. And so, I was already chapter vice president, and so I thought, okay, I'm gonna run for state office. So I ran for state office and became state president for Kansas. And so of course, I have that mentality that I wasn't done. I thought, I'm gonna keep going. And so then right away, I ran for National Mountain Plains Region Vice President. And that was, words do not describe how every emotion, anybody who runs for national office, you just know that it is, words just don't describe what the campaign season's like for the few days that you're there and what it's like. I mean, I kind of went a little crazy. My family came to Nashville. they didn't even want to be around me because I was so worked up and I was so nervous. But so then I ran for that and I succeeded. And so I had the chance as National Plains Region Vice President. The great thing is, yeah, I had 9 states and it was cool. I went all the way from North Dakota down to Texas, and then I went over from Colorado, Wyoming, and New Mexico. And so it was, yeah, I was just Mountain Plains. But at the same time, I think that the national office knew that I wanted to expand. And so they allowed me to go to conferences all over the place. And I got to go to Georgia and Alabama and you know, speaking in front of 22,000 people at one point. And it's something that you think you're ready for, but when you get up there and you're so nervous. And I thought I was a great public speaker, and then I got involved in PBL, FBLA, PBL, and ran for national office. And I truly believe that is what led me to my position that I am today. And because now my job is to speak in front of everybody. I speak in front of the state of Kansas. I have, my district has 22,000 people in it. So granted, I don't speak to all of them at the same time, but my job is to communicate. And so I learned the effective ways of how to communicate through this position. I mean, we are the millennial generation is the generation of technology. And so I was in charge of keeping up on social media. And for somebody, I thought, okay, I post to Facebook every day. This isn't going to be hard. But excuse me, you also have to think about the times that FBLA or PBL is not just your traditional college students. You know, we have non-traditional students too. And plus, you got to make sure that you can't use slang and lingo and everything. You have to make sure you're communicating your point across. Is this post going to upset somebody? If it's going to upset somebody, how do you feel about it? And can you defend yourself? And so it helped me make sure that I was staying well-rounded on everything. It allowed me to meet with the state Department of Education, or sorry, the federal Department of Education. We went to Washington. I was able to advocate for CTSOs in Washington, D.C. with with the Kansas congressmen and senators in D.C. So it was a blast. I've loved every moment of it. But there was a time that I did my year term and I thought, you know what, I'm done. I need to focus. I'm about to student teach. My degree's in business education. And so I just stuck with Kansas again on the state level. And so anyways, what I'm trying to get at is you never know what you're going to do. You never know. I can't tell you what's going to happen next week. But when situations happen and you think, man, that didn't go the way I wanted it to, you got to take a step back and think, is this really where I should be? Is this maybe a sign that I need to do something else? And where is my passion? What am I good at? What do people trust me in? And you just got to work for it. And like I said, take a step back and go for it. So anyways, that's a long story of a nutshell of how I got involved with FBLA PBL, where I went. I was a virtual member my super senior year when I was state president my final year. So there's that. Ryan, what else am I supposed to talk about?
I think those are some good points. Like she said, Tori was a virtual member, so some point that we do want to get across that just because you are a virtual member doesn't mean that is going to negate any of your opportunities that you have within the organization. She was still able to very successfully run for state office, so that's definitely a great point to make. Do you think, Tori, that running for the Kansas House of Representatives position, do you think your position in PBL and your experience campaigning and interacting with the public assisted you in getting that position?
Absolutely. When I ran for national Mountain Plains Region Vice President, you know, you have to have a slogan, and I've always liked campaigns. But my slogan was, and it's gonna follow me, it's gonna haunt me for the rest of my life. It was, "Go for glory, vote for Tori." And my thought was, I'm gonna make it America themed, and who can turn down America? And so I had flags, I had post-it notes, I had pins, everything, red, white, and blue, stars and stripes everywhere. Um, but I learned how to make a brochure. I learned how to figure out what is relevant, what is not relevant. I think the best part that led me to this was, on the national level, when you have mountain plains and you have your regional VPs, people who are not within my region cannot vote for me, and we all know that. But it doesn't matter. I mean, when it comes down to voting, yes, they're supposed to vote for you. But in reality, when you're running to be the voice of Mountain Plains, but you're also running to voice on the national board and to be a national officer. And so just because somebody from California can't vote for me doesn't mean I'm not going to listen to them. And so that's the same thing when it comes to House of Representatives. Just because you don't live in my district doesn't mean I'm not going to listen to you. And I think that's one thing that really prepped me for this was to know how to answer. A lot of people when they campaign, they ask, what district are you in? And they say, oh, I'm in district XYZ. And automatically, if it's not your district, oh, I can't talk to you. That's not true. That's not how it should be. I'm one of 125 on the Kansas House of Representatives. I'm a voice. I'm a vote. I'm one of 125. And just because you may not specifically live in my district doesn't mean, I'm still going to treat you the same way I treat anybody from my district. So there's that. And then, like I said, when it came down to campaigning, it's all about when you campaign, and as much as somebody doesn't want to hear it, but when you campaign, you need to have a smile on your face all the time. And you know what? Maybe you just talked to somebody who just really put a damper on your day. That should not, and it cannot affect you to the next person. This next person wants to see the exact same smiling face you had at 8 o'clock in the morning, if you're a morning person, or me. I'm one of those people, after I eat, I'm in a really good mood. So I need to make sure that I have a smiley face on it all the time. And again, if somebody just spoke to me and they disagree with me, you know what? Let's agree to disagree and let's move on. And so yeah, there's that, and it's just something that even if you don't go into politics, or even if you don't go into anything like that, you still learn life skills. And that's something that when people talk about CTSOs, I just think of how much it benefited my life.
So, Tori, what are some of your day-to-day responsibilities in the position that you hold right now? What does kind of a typical day look like for you when you get to work?
So a typical day, I get up and I run at 5 o'clock in the morning, and everybody looks at me like I'm crazy. But it's a great way just to start off the day. And if you're stressed from the night before, it's a great way just to get the endorphins out and just start your day fresh. And plus, it helps with my Fitbit goal, my step goal. But then, we have calendar in the morning at 8 o'clock or 8:30. Calendar is when we go over all of the bills that are above the line. And if a bill is above the line, that means that we're going to work it on the House floor that day. So we go over, this is what this bill says. Does anybody have any amendments for it? Who are the proponents, opponents, neutrals, so forth? And it allows you to kind of talk to people around you. And one thing about Kansas is equally divided, just like no other state's population is equally divided. We're all the same. But in Kansas, we're more populated on the eastern side than the western side. Well, I am right in the smack dab middle of Kansas. So I'm most likely my constituents will most likely agree with the western Kansas folks. So, this is the time for me to sit down and talk to them. And, hey, how does this affect you? Hey, cattle farmer, how is this bill going to affect your cattle farm? And so forth. But then at 9 o'clock, I have a committee meeting. And usually I have all the way around and then at 11 o'clock we House floor And that's when we work bills, and we have our official boat record. Usually somebody will take us out to lunch and we'll hear about their issue, or we'll have some type of caucus. And then I have 2 more meetings in the afternoon along with other people. And then at night we have different receptions. Like tonight, I had 3 different receptions I had to go to, and you check to see if your constituents are there. And because your constituents are the ones who voted you into this position. So you need to go out of your way and talk to them and see, hey, thank you so much for making the strides to speak at. I truly, truly appreciate it. What's on your mind? What is this reception that we're at? Where are you guys at with these bills? Are there any bills in my committee? How can I help you? So I do that, and then like right now I'm driving back to my district. So it's a very eventful day, to say the least. I start every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. So, and then I usually don't get to bed till about midnight or so, because I'm usually busy responding to emails or looking up and getting prepared for the next day.
Very good. Sounds like you stay pretty busy.
Yes.
I have one more question here on the agenda, and then I believe Abby has compiled some questions for some of our viewers.
Okay.
But just from knowing you personally, and like you said, from working in FBLA with you throughout the years, I think we both knew that this is probably not the position that you would have been in. At least that's not something that I thought of. I remember referencing your mayor aspirations a while back, but now that you are kind of in this position, what are your plans for the future? What are you wanting to continue to do in this field?
You know, Ryan, that is a really good question. When I figure it out, I'll let you know. But I think one thing that people need to know is it's okay to not know what you want to do. And one thing that got brought up today in my committee meeting, I'm on the education committee, and one thing that really got brought up was they said that we're talking about career technical education, which is a lot of FBLA, PBL, and other CTSOs. They said the best part about being involved in a CTSO or going to a technical career education college and so forth is that you are allowed to do hands-on experience. Well, I will tell you that we were called, the millennial generation, they said that they reference us as the snowflake generation. Well, you know what? I don't think of me as a snowflake. I think of myself as, you know, I have a degree in business education, and I work in 3 different school districts. So that gives me a very well-rounded perspective. I eat the school lunch every day that I work. I sit down with the students and I eat their lunch. If they're going to eat this, if they're going to eat nachos, I'm going to eat nachos. But on top of it is, yeah, I have my degree in business education. Maybe in 5 years, I want to go back and I want to teach a marketing class, or maybe I want to move on to the Senate, or maybe I want to move on to a leadership position. I'm still just trying to get the feel of everything. I like what I do right now. It is the most rewarding job I've ever had. But maybe 5 years from now, times have changed, and maybe this isn't the job I'm supposed to be in, and somebody else is supposed to do it. And so it's just a time, again, you got to step back, reevaluate what's going on, and go from there. So to answer your question, Ryan, I don't know where I want to go next.
Well, let's just all right. I know I've jumped around quite a bit myself, but it looks like you have a very versatile degree with your business education, and I'm sure all your experiences so far in PBL is going to help you along with that. So
absolutely. Well, especially at business, every job you go into, you will utilize that business portion that you know somehow. And it'll give you a totally different perspective on everything. And some people are numbers people, that's fine. You don't have to be a numbers person to understand business. And everybody enjoys marketing, and every business has to market themselves somehow. And you learn all that through FBLA PBL.
Okay. Hi, Tori. I think it's my time to speak.
Okay.
Correctly. So it looks like we received a few questions. So do you mind answering a few of them?
Yeah, that's fine. Let's go for it.
Okay. So the first one is, what events did you participate in while in PBL, and what do you have? Oh, and do you have any national placings that you would like to tell us about? Excuse me.
Yeah, so when I was in FBLA, I competed in partnership with the business, and I placed 4th in the nation when I was a sophomore in high school. So that was a lot of fun. We got to go to Anaheim, so that was my very first NLC. Hands down the best one I've ever been to. And then I also competed in community service, and then I don't know why I ever did it. I'm not a test taker whatsoever, but I took all of those dang tests, all of those 100-question tests with the bubble sheets in good old Kansas, and I failed epically at every single one of them. I was probably the person who placed last, to be quite honest. But I did those, and then in PBL, I placed on the state level. I placed first in sales presentation, first in marketing analysis, and just no, it was integrative marketing campaign, and then second, and I think marketing decision and analysis making or something like that. But I went to nationals in sales presentation, and it was an eye-opener because what I was selling in Kansas, people of Kansas knew about this product. But the moment we went to Nashville, Tennessee, and the moment I went to Nashville, they didn't know what product I was. So I had to backpedal, and my sales presentations were different at the state level than the national level. And then when I was a national officer, and then when I went back and worked on a campaign this past year at nationals, I did the open events, and I did the agribusiness. So, and let's just say I didn't place, so it was not very good.
Okay. The second one is I'm considering running for a national officer position. What should I do to prepare?
What I think you should do to prepare is first shoot me an email. I would love to talk to you. But that's just optional. I think first you need to do is you need to know, do you have this support from your state? And if you have the support from your state, that's where it all begins. Next, I remember when I was a national officer, people emailed me all the time about, hey, Tori, I'm just curious about, I'm curious about running for office. Or, I got the typical, hey, I'm asking for a friend. Well, we all know you're the friend. But anyways, and it was just one of those things where, hey, I'm gonna email you back, but I would love to talk to you on the phone. It's, I can explain to you what all I did. And when I was a national officer, I had national officers who they were very involved, and there were some that, hey, I have to put my academics first. I can't travel. Travel is not mandatory. But it's all what you want to do. If you have the time commitment, being a national officer does take a lot of time, but it's all about however you want to make the job. That's what you're going to do. So like I said, reach out to somebody. It could be myself. It could be a current national officer. It could be a past national officer. Reach out to them. Ask them, what are your thoughts? Next thing you got to do is you got to reach out to your state, because they're the ones that they're going to help. They're going to be the ones campaigning and supporting you. And if you don't have your state's support, then it's going to be a little difficult to sell the nation on why you should be a national officer. And then lastly is just, I think the last thing is, and everybody knows this, but you just need to make a list of goals of what you want to do and what you want to accomplish. And those goals that you write down, that's your platform.
Okay, the next question is, how are you, as a virtual PBL member, able to connect with other PBL members and influential business leaders?
That's a good one. I'd have to say, you don't truly, in my opinion, and I could be completely wrong, but you don't truly get the full feel of being a PBL member until you attend another conference and you get to interact with others. So, and what I mean by that is, Yeah, my very first state PBL for Kansas. Yeah, that was one. That was one thing. But when you go to nationals and you're spending a week with people that you go and the only people you know there are maybe the person you sat next to on the airplane or something like that. I can guarantee there's other people in the exact same boat as you. And when I think of PBL, I think of family. And I have all these people on my Facebook to this day, and all these people still reach out to me and they say, "Hey, keep going strong. Hey, or greetings from Georgia." Or when I went to NLC another year, I always told Georgia, I said, "I want Georgia peaches," and they brought me Georgia peaches, and they would do that for anybody, and it's a family moment. So that's one thing is when you start attending conferences, you got to branch out, you got to meet everybody. Somebody else is in the exact same boat as you. When it comes down to essential business leaders, I've just noticed the very first thing is just ask. Go if you want to be a banker, go into a bank that you are interested in or inspired by, and just say, hey, I'm a college student. I'm in PBL. I don't know if you've heard of PBL. It's Phi Beta Lambda. Give them your 30-second elevator speech, but it says, can I shadow somebody? I'm curious. I'm really interested in the banking industry, and I'm just curious. Can I shadow somebody? Can you just give me 30 minutes of your time? And I don't know how many people I've shadowed, and that's when I realized, hey, I really like this job, and hey, I probably should stay away from this job. Maybe in 30 years it'd be kind of cool, but just you got to make the initial contact, and that relationship that you just built will last a lifetime, and people will remember it.
Okay, we have one last question. You kind of already answered it, but we'll see if you have anything to add to it. And it's, do you believe that your involvement in PBL has opened doors that normally may not have been presented to you?
Yes, I do. Absolutely. I think one thing that is really, there's so many people I would have never met. But when I ran for office, my national officer team, every national officer team thinks that their national officer team is the best, but hands down, I believe that mine was my best. Let's just say that I made best friends through this ordeal, from being involved. I met one of my bridesmaids, that's in law school right now. Her name's Jenna Wadacheski, and she was, when it came down to my campaign, she has been so much help. She has made sure, I'll call her with a legal question, and she's there, and she really helps me with, hey, when you make this decision, make sure you realize, are you violating the Kansas Constitution, and so forth. So that really opened it up. Another really good one of my friends is Kevin Thorne. He was the national secretary. So Jenna was national parliamentarian. Kevin Thorne was national secretary. He's actually over in Vietnam right now, and he's the one he's really made me open my eyes and my mind to everything. I used to be so close-minded and think this is the way and this is how we're going to do it. And he's really made me step back and see, okay, Tori, when you make this decision, you are affecting this person and this person. How are you going to work with that? So he's been just amazing. And then on top of it, I've had the chance to meet Karthik Christian, and he was national treasurer. He became national president, and then Travis London, who was the national Southern Region vice president and also became national secretary. But they helped me out with my campaign tremendously. And Travis and I disagree on politics, which was the best decision I think I've ever made, because he also made me develop a well-rounded discussion on everything, and that's what we need. So plus I was able to hear, hey, Karthik, what are they doing in Maryland? What are they doing over here? Hey, you got a chance to go to this conference. What are they doing here? So there's that. It's just being involved every step, and I am a firm believer in everything that you do, every step of the way. Either if you're just involved in an organization, if you take a class, if you meet somebody, it's going to benefit you. And you may not realize it till 5 years down the line, but there's a reason you met them, and you're going to remember it. And it's like I said, it's going to open up doors for you. Same with me, like I said, and I think another thing too was I thought that I was a really good public speaker. And then I had to speak in front of 22,000 people and realize, okay, maybe I'm not. Maybe it's time to work on some things. But on top of it, I was able to brand the person that I want to be and the person that I think, I mean, everyone, when you're in college, you're trying to figure out the person that you want to be, and you're just developing yourself. But, you know, I made a brand for myself. And, you know, I have the Tori brand. And one of the things that I pride myself on, at least, is I think I'm hilarious. I'm probably not, but I think I am a comedian. And whenever I give speeches anywhere, I try to crack a joke. And humor will get you a long way. And laughing is what keeps us young. And so that's something that I try to do with everything. So I know that I just was scatterbrained and just answered that question in a million different ways. But I hope I kind of got the gist of the answer that you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm sure it was great. Everything fit well. Okay, Ryan, do you see any more questions, or?
I think that is it on our part here.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you, Tori. It looks like that's all the time we have. Thank you for coming and taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us this evening. We hope you all enjoyed tonight's webinar and gained valuable information about how PBL and virtual
you guys are changing this.
help
Virtual, yes.
Lead a legacy of leadership. On
Yes.
behalf of, oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, I know, I'm just saying you guys are awesome. And the theme for this year is exactly what you guys are going to be doing in the United States. Leaving a legacy.
All right. And Ryan or Kennedy, do you have any parting words before I close? I'm going to take that as a no. Okay. On behalf of your 2016-2017 virtual PBL officer team, I thank you for attending, and we hope to see you in the future for more virtually sponsored webinars.